This is the 12 by 7 by 6 Galileo golf net. And this is how it comes. Today we're going to go over some pros and cons of this net, as well as answering the burning question, can I get it to go exactly back in the bag as it is here? First, we're going to work on setting the net up. Let's see how long that takes. There are only 6 steps included on this installation guide, so let's go ahead and get into it. What we're going to do is we're going to undo this string. It comes with the bag, and this is actually a drawstring here. So you just undo the drawstring like that, open it up, and let's see how it comes. All right, so we'll keep this for later. And it looks like it is wrapped all the way up in the net. Supposed to do that. And right away I can tell this is a pretty thick net. Like, the quality of this is pretty good. Looks like our target here. Target piece, some stakes are included. Rope tie off for something. And the poles. We'll go ahead and start getting these assembled here. We've already identified step 1. We've unpacked and checked to make sure we have all the materials. We do. And now we're going to go on to step 2, which is connecting the fiberglass poles like this. This should be a really relatively straightforward and simple process. If you've ever put a tent together or any other types of sports nets, putting these types of assemblies together is usually pretty easy and not very time consuming, which I like, especially if you're wanting something that's portable, something that you can take apart and tear down. It's kind of part of the convenience factor. Onto the second one here. It'd be pretty easy even if you weren't experienced with this type of net setup to do this. That's kind of a pro, in my opinion, is how intuitive is this to set up. And so far, it's pretty easy. Now step 3 is to lay the net on the ground, and the 2 fiberglass poles will cross and slide through the sleeves. I'm guessing this is where one of the sleeves starts, and then the pole probably connects on the end of this pin and then goes through this sleeve right here. We're going to go ahead and start that process. Here is attempt number 1 at doing this. We are working on getting it through the sleeves here of the net, and you can see that just came through one area. We're back online. We had a brief camera malfunction due to heat, so we moved into the garage. And I also noticed in step 3 that there are different colored sleeves here to help guide us. One cross will be the red, and then the other cross will be the blue. We're going to use that to guide us, and we're going to get right back on it. So I think that should help us out here. We're a little limited with our space due to the fact that we're in the garage. So this is definitely a net for bigger spaces. And these are well laid out. They are color coded, nice and bright, so that you can see them. So sometimes if you're not careful when you're feeding this through, you can get a disconnect in the middle, which could be a little bit of a pain, but you can still fix it pretty easily. As you can see, we have one side laid out entirely, one pole laid out entirely. We haven't connected the pins yet. We won't do that yet because I don't think we're supposed to. We are going to put these on next in through the blue slides, and once we're done with that, we'll get back to you. As you can see, we now have the net all laid out with the crossing poles going through where they're supposed to. Step number 4 is going to be to insert the pins on the 4 corners of the net and to the end of the fiberglass poles. This is actually proven to be a relatively easy step, I feel like. The last corner is generally the most difficult to get to extend. So I'm just gonna set this up and see if I can't get it to work that way. Okay, cool. I got this all the way set up. And to do that, I actually ended up standing it up. It helped me get this last corner in. It was just really a pain in the butt. That often happens with the last pin in a tent, and it happens with the last pin in sports nets. It happens with trampolines. And you can see I kind of have some slack over here and it's taut over there. So we could try and fix that real quick. So one thing I noticed before I'm hanging this up is that the net, the target itself, actually comes with these little hooks on these bungees, which is nice because I thought I was going to have to tie it with rope or string or something, and it doesn't look like I'm going to have to do that. Target is actually going to hook onto the net, and there are little tiny loopholes here that you just hook that onto, and then there's one on the other side and then 2 on the bottom as well. This is the complete net once it's all the way set up, just minus the stakes, of course. I just wanted to point out that this target is tapered, so it's smaller at the top and wider at the bottom. When I initially set it up, I put it the wrong way. You have to do that correctly, otherwise it'll cause imbalances, it'll pull pull the sides of the cage in. And now we're just gonna hit a few practice shots and see how it goes. Uh-oh. Of course it reads that one. They will not read your best shot. It's kind of a rule. Of course, maybe there aren't any best shots. Got him! Just some thoughts as I'm hitting here. Net works really well, and it seems to be made very, very well. Like the quality of the material. This target feels thin, but I think it's designed that way just as another layer to protect the back net. It doesn't seem like you're gonna send it through this and then through the net at all. I mean, it would take probably thousands and thousands of shots to do that. So the material is very high quality in my opinion, especially the sleeves. They're made well, it doesn't feel chintzy. The poles are made decently in my opinion. I think if they were any heavier though, you would really start to compromise the lightness of this product and the ability to lug it around, set it up, tear it down. And so I think they're made well enough for what it's designed to do. And I don't think that there's gonna be any problem with them whatsoever in the future. Obviously sending a ball off one of them, I'm not for sure. I haven't done that yet, thankfully. Otherwise, I think this product is made very well and it will last for years, even as I shank that one underneath the net there and hit the back. You know, I can't tell anything wrong with it. If you use this product with stakes, that would improve the ability of it to hold into the ground. I'm using it without stakes and it seems to work fine. It has a nice little lip here on the edge, which is catching the balls and keeping them there. I kind of like that. If you didn't want that, what you probably could do is you could take a piece of the Menards grass that you can find for like 17 bucks for a roll and just lay it over the top of it, and then it would roll right back to you. But otherwise, yeah, this product is great. Here are my final thoughts on the Galileo Sports Net. The cons are that it's extremely lightweight. If I were to play with this net outside in very windy conditions, I'm afraid that it would blow away. I know for a fact that you would have to use the stakes in that situation, and you may even need a heavier object like a sandbag to make sure that it doesn't tip over. The other problem that I found is that the poles are relatively thin. So if they took a direct shot from a golf ball, I'm not for sure if they would bend, break, crack, shatter, or what would happen. But I don't know of any other portable nets on the market that wouldn't also have this problem. Now let's discuss some of the pros. The price is extremely affordable. $93 is the current offering on Galileo's website. In my opinion, that's a real steal. You could also potentially go to Amazon and grab a hitting net for under 100 bucks, and then for $200, you would have a really solid setup practice area at your own home. Another pro is that the size and coverage area of the tent is nice and large, so even if you mishit a ball, which would never happen to me, you don't have to worry about it going through a wall or window somewhere. The net does a great job about catching the ball and rebounding it without throwing it right back at you. That being said, you are going to want to make sure you have plenty of space to set this net up because it is not small. But if you're looking for a smaller option, Galileo has plenty of those listed on their website as well. Another pro is that the assembly is super easy. I'm not very mechanically inclined, and I was able to set this net up in under 30 minutes on my first attempt. If you have any experience setting up a tent or another sports net in general, I'm extremely confident that you could handle this task. And even if you don't, as long as you follow the instructions, you'd be okay. Even though the first attempt took me 30 minutes, I believe that the second time setting up the net, I could probably do it in under 15 minutes. One big pro that maybe not a lot of people would think of is that I found that you can use this net on a concrete floor without the stakes, and if you hit a full shot into the net, it will not tip over. That's pretty big. Overall, the net itself, the sleeves, and the general construction is high quality, and I believe it will last for many years to come. I would recommend that you buy this net. Personally, I would buy this net if I didn't already have a hitting bay set up in my garage, and I have absolutely zero reservations about recommending this net to anyone out there. And for the cherry on top, the creme de la creme, if you will, check this out. Well, I think out of everything today, this is probably my most impressive feat. That's worth a subscription right there.